Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building, Casey Cooper. She's the CEO of the Compass Circle. Welcome.
Thank you.
So for people that don't know who Casey Cooper is, who is Casey Cooper and what is your business?
So I'm Casey Cooper of the Compass Circle. Thank you for that intro. I started a trucking company about 16 years ago and kind of just kept failing forward. Got into heavy haul, wide loads, tall loads, heavy loads, and government contracts. So I've been awarded almost $6 million worth of government contracts in the last 3 years. And we teach women-owned and minority companies how to get access to the same opportunities through government contracts or certifications so they can, grow their business.
Yeah, I'm a fan of MWBEs because I feel like a lot of people don't take advantage of them and apply for that certification. So can you talk about what that process is like and how you even knew about it?
Oh, wow. How did I know about it? I just really, desire is one hell of a drug. Anything you want bad enough, you will do the research. So I was Googling, I was getting with my local procurement office. And kind of once you start getting into that industry and, you start getting emails, you start getting invited to like all the happenings. WMB varies in different states depending on, what's going on. Of course, everybody's backed up right now. But they're going to want to see like 2 years of tax returns. They're going to want to see that you are a legitimate, viable business so you can get this certification to move forward.
Now, how did you get into trucking? You're from Virginia Beach. And 15 years ago in Virginia Beach when you started this company, Virginia Beach, I'm sure it wasn't about trucking. Drugs were heavy in Virginia Beach at the time. Crime was heavy in Virginia Beach, and partying was heavy in Virginia Beach. There was no Miami back then. We went to Virginia Beach to party. Right. So how did you get into trucking?
I don't know, to be honest, Envy. So when I was 15, I had vending machines. And so I would be like 15 going to get my dollar bills and go hitting the mall. So I'm making like $400 or $500
So how did you start the vending machines? That's not at a 15-year-old. That's not what a 15-year-old does usually, typically. So how did you get into vending machines? Start from the beginning. How did you get this entrepreneur type of mind?
I don't know. Nobody in my family, my parents are working middle class, retired people. I have no idea. I think it's just from people just telling you no. Like back then, it was no Uber. It was no Lyft. So you had to like get case quarters and use the phone. White Pages picked me up. So I became very resourceful. And I got those vending machines. It was an older gentleman in my neighborhood. He had like accounts at the airports. And I convinced him to just rent me two. Back then I was 15, so it was quite some time ago. Right. But for $25 a month for two of them, back then I was doing music really heavy. So I put them in the studio. I would go get my money. And I was like set on, I'm not going to be the one making this money. That's how I'm going to do it. Right. So that was like my first taste. I got about 25 and I was like, yo, I'm going to get me a dump truck. I don't know where it came from. It just popped up in my mind.
Wanted a dump truck.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to have this fleet. I'm going to do this. And it just did not happen that way. I mean, I ended up a millionaire, but it took some
So what happened with the business? So what was the bad part about the business? You got your first dump truck and then what happened?
The first one was a piece of crap. It was $80,000. So the truck note was like $2,200. Insurance was $600.
At what age?
I was like 25. So I'm spending $600 a week on fuel. It was just horrible. It was a piece of crap. It was actually a converted road tractor that somebody put a dump body on. So for anybody listening, don't do that. Because road tractors are not made to go off-road like that. But my mom had co-signed for me. So my motivation was like, I can't let her.
Mom's credit.
I can't do it. But I was up against a converted road tractor. So I ended up terminating the lease. I had to pay like $20,000 to get out of it. And then I just kept buying trucks. Got my license. Got my TWIC card, got my escort and pilot's license, and I just kept, I was like failing forward, but I kept going to the next step. So I just...
There's a lot of men in the trucking business. So what is that like for you? Because I always hear horror stories.
I've had a few horror stories, like people getting off the job. So all my friends were like truckers too. So we're all on the same jobs because the money is all, federal.
Are you driving the truck?
Oh, I have a license.
Oh, you drive the truck?
Not anymore.
But you used to.
She's been delivered. Not anymore.
Okay.
I drove for 6 years on and off because I had to.
Right. It makes sense if you want to have the business to know what the business is about and do it.
I got my permit before I got the truck because I was like, listen, somebody needs to know something about this vehicle. And so the first guy I hired, he was living in my truck. It was a nightmare. And I was like, you know what, to hell with this. I'm going to drive. Got sick of that. Kind of got into like other facets. Like I said, got my escort's license. So I've been, escorting my own freight. all of that. You got to get your hands dirty to see each little nuance in your business.
How is the over the radio? Because I hear that sometimes there's a lot of racism, a lot of sexism, and all of that.
It is. So when you're escorting, it's a little bit different because
So what is escort? You got to break it down like with 3-year-olds. I don't know what escort. Escort to some people like what was she?
Oh
escort?
yes, please. I don't come to look.
Escort
I've
on
come
the
too
side.
far, please. So just like this building is a tall. I don't know how many stories, but this was a job to pull together millions of dollars. So I would bring in like the tall beams that actually hold the building up. And so sometimes that stuff is so wide or so tall or so heavy that it's not safe during normal
you
hours.
The person that slows down the traffic because the truck takes up 2 lanes and you got to take up the third lane.
Yeah, we have to keep it safe. And sometimes, the stuff would be so big, we would have to carry it at night, like shut down tunnels. It was a whole production. So I think the first time I got the first escort bill was like $11,000 for the week. I was like, oh, nah. Who I need to talk to get my license? My dad got his license. My boyfriend at the time got his license. So we were just trying to save money, but I ended up getting into so many other things. So it was pretty cool.
Now, what when you say wide load, what is a wide load, and what does that incur? Like, you take up 2 lanes on the highway. Is it a bigger truck? Is it a wider truck?
It depends. My biggest loads that I've carried are 25 feet wide, so that's significantly wide. That's going to take up 2 lanes. But you can be, 10 feet, 12 feet. It just depends on what the commodity is and what the job is. Because my transportation jobs are closely related to construction. That way I'll never go out of business. So, you have to protect that freight at all costs.
How was your road rage during that time?
I didn't have any, Angela, because I was so excited to be out there. First of all, it's my stuff.
Right.
So if anything happens, I'm on the scene. Like, I can, pivot. But just to be in the mix, just to watch myself do all this stuff and then to go down the road and people see you driving and they're like, bah, bah.
Do you hate that though? Because I do that to this day.
Envy still does that.
I still do that to this day.
Envy still shows his titties when he's.
I do not show my titties.
No.
But as a kid, we couldn't afford flights, so we would drive to Florida, drive to Virginia. So partly you would see trucks, so there's nothing to do. We didn't have video games, so that would be the fun part of it. Pulling the horn and the truck driver pulling the horn, it would make it excited.
No, I think it's pretty cool. When people see me driving, even now, sometimes if I have to take a truck to go do whatever, or we're making a video, I'll hop in and drive. And, people see you. It's kind of cool to give them a little big up or whatever.
But I also feel like people be so rude to trucks, too. Like,
they do.
driving
Definitely.
on the highway.
They do.
They do not play. They will cut y'all off. They'll try to go around you, almost cause an accident.
It's serious. You got to drive for everybody on the road because it's very serious. And you're carrying, thousands of pounds of commodity pipes, impellers, ducts. So you got to be, it's serious.
What was the worst experience you had on the road? Because I could imagine rain, sleet, snow, and you guys got tons of weight behind y'all. So what is the...
How much time we got?
Just tell us just one.
It'll have to be a toss-up between, I had 2 drivers that were seeing each other. So they would be in my truck, having sex.
No.
And then I had a driver go to jail, in some hick town over the weekend. So I had to get my kids, go to where he was 3 hours away. I couldn't get him out to that weekend. The truck was broken down. It was just horrible. People kill each other on the road. I've had that happen too. So it gets very dangerous. Yeah.
And how often do you have where the truck breaks down? And what do you do in that situation? Is there a AAA for trucks?
There is.
Your truck breaks down on the side of a road. What happens?
So I got very enterprising. I actually rented a friend of mine. He has a lift. So you can put the lift on the back of your tractor and haul your other broke down tractor to where you need to go. So I would just do that.
Now I want to get back to these government contracts because you said you've gotten $6 million worth of government contracts. So tell me how this first started for you. What kind of contracts are you getting? Because people I feel like, to know about this for whatever it is that they do. And with these certifications, a lot of women are eligible. It gets a little shicey how things get done because I've heard of stories where white women are eligible for this, right?
Yeah.
And so their husband or family member will sign up for something and then they'll get the certification with the woman in the family.
Exactly.
But that takes away from also it's supposed to benefit Black people and minorities.
Right.
So can you talk about that whole process and how you managed to get almost $6 million worth of contracts?
Yes. So same thing like I was saying earlier. I was just taking all the classes. Everybody's local municipality or state has some kind of program.
We have the Small Business Administration here, and I've taken classes there too. And I got my certification.
Good job, girl. Okay. But if you don't use it, you can't complain. You know what I'm saying? So even though we don't speak to each other in that language, I'm not sitting here talking to you about an RFP and an RFI. We don't communicate that way. I think it's a little off-putting because culturally we're just not introduced to that. And project management is not something that we're really reared on. if our parents did have businesses, they were working in the business. You didn't really see your pop sitting back calling all the shots. So same process. I mean, you just have to get in there, find out what your state has to offer, because it's going to vary. I probably have gotten over $40,000 worth of free things, business plans. I'm talking about elaborate business plans, employee handbooks, like policies, procedures. Most of us are not walking around with that stuff, but that's what it takes to get to, this apex level. But you have to just really tap into it. The government contracts are there. My first one was about 2 months after I got registered in stamps. I had no clue what I was doing, like no clue. I just knew that I had to get the paperwork together.
Right.
I just had to get it together, and I would get a swing at some point.
So you put a bid in? Is that how?
No, I just registered. So www.sam.gov is the federal government's wheelhouse to register. So once you go in there and you register, which is absolutely free, then you're eligible to start looking at contracts, bidding on contracts, so on and so forth. Now, I don't recommend, if you have no experience whatsoever, just start bidding.
Right.
But I was already doing my trucking thing, so I was 10 years in by that point.
Did you ever bid too low? Like you throw in a bid and be like, fuck.
No, because with government, it's just a little bit different.
Oh, you're a bit higher.
Yeah, because you're also employing other small businesses for 4 or 5 years. So if I'm, hiring her, she's happy, I'm happy, we're all eating. So that's what it's really about.
Now you have a program where I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
I was going to say, you have a program where you teach people how to do it.
All the time.
Break that down.
So, there's so many certifications. There's one called the 8A, the letter, the number 8 and the letter A. I'm in that program. This is my 4th year. It's a developmental program for minorities who have disparities that allows you to actually bypass the bidding process. So my $5 million contract I got because of that certification. I would have never got that opportunity that easy without that certification.
Wow.
So, you have total small business, which most of us are total small business. You have woman-owned, economically disadvantaged woman-owned, hub zone, 8A. There's a myriad of them. You just have to pick the ones that apply to you and make them work for you.
And all this information, by the way, is free, right?
It's all free.
And you can go and do these classes, well, you pay for it with your tax dollars. That's what I always say. So you need to make sure you use these resources.
And here's the thing, too, Angela. So I'm from Virginia. That's where I got all of my training from. In this particular time and setting when I was going after all of these classes, you had to be making $250,000 a year to even get the free government classes.
Wow.
So let's just say you make $7 an hour and you got a side business. You're able to scrape up, $60,000 gross. You're not even eligible to take the class.
Right.
So systems are put in place for it to be systematic.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It makes no sense. So everybody has, different opportunities, and that's just one. It's now you have YouTube, people on Clubhouse talking about government contracts. 15 years ago, people were not talking about government contracts, and nobody was talking about trucking, period.
So people get rich off of that.
Oh, I've done very well.
Yeah, there's companies that can go from being a small company to being a multi-million-dollar company.
Oh, yeah. And then at that point, you have to decide, because if you're making $30,000 a year, you don't really know what it's like to be in charge of $7 million. So each way, I thank God for it now. Even now, I'm like, I don't want to grow my company to $100 million. That's not what I want to do. It's just a different level of responsibility.
Now, how much racism did you see? Like, did you see a lot? Like, have you ever seen where somebody knows that you're a black woman that owns a company, but like, you know what? We're not going to go with you. We'll go with somewhere else. Because it seems like it's a good old boy type of business.
Oh, no, it is. Because you have so many, localities. You got local, state, federal. You have private sector. There's actually a large crane company, and I've seen several cranes coming into the city. So kudos to New York, y'all are building. They're like
building here.
Infrastructure. It's gonna happen. They're like 102-year-old crane company, and I said, hey, I got this certification. I'm getting with their estimators. I'm trying to audition for them, but I'm the one with the big certification. So I kind of had to dance around with them for a little while. Then you go over here. You're trying to get somebody to kind of big brother you. But nobody's checking for me, little old me, with no pipeline, So I really just did my own thing. I used the certifications. I just kept plugging away at it. It's a lot of research and a lot of data and writing. But anything worth having, you got to do something for.
Take some work.
Yeah.
Do people ever look at you and make a judgment based off of seeing you like, oh, there's no way she does this?
All the time. I run ads, thousands of dollars in ads, every month. And you should see some of the comments. She can't drive. she could, it's just all this misogyny. Like,
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'll run circles around anybody right now in a truck. Like, pull up outside right now. Like,
that's what I'm talking
let's
about.
Go.
Pull up.
I feel like
Pull
so
up.
many young black women will be inspired just by seeing you up here today talking about this and a lane that they might have never thought about for themselves. And then being able to not just take that experience and stay in your lane, but then to expand.
Oh, God, the expansion is crazy. Like, I did not know I was going to be doing this 15 years ago. Like, I've done some of the biggest projects in the world. I'm talking about bridges, tunnels, highways, 400 million, 500 million, 3 billion.
That's great.
You're getting 20% of that, into your local area. So we all, black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs.
That's right.
But we don't have the most millions. So something is not right, and we got to fix it.
I love it. And even when I do my car shows, I've hired a black woman that has a transport company that transported my cars.
Outstanding.
I just love to see it. But now during the pandemic, how was your business affected?
I have quadrupled. Like, everybody, like now with the pandemic, people want classes. They're at home. They want to learn how to do this. They want to learn how to work from home. My business has literally gone from like 6 figures in a day, like easy. So I have to kind of scale back sometimes because I'm also managing my own growth. And if you don't do it properly, what
It
happens.
can be overwhelming.
It can be overwhelming. People saying you scamming, like, you're just mismanaging the influx. So even coming here, I had to hire extra people because I knew I was coming here.
Right.
So people are going to come looking. Everybody wants to wear the crown, but it's heavy.
How can people find you and also learn about the classes and everything?
So we're on social media heavy, at The Compass Circle on IG, Facebook, The Compass Circle. Our website is www.thecompasscircle.com, so I'm easy to find.
What would you say are some of the most challenging things in starting your business have been for you?
I'm going to be honest, Angela, I never really got into the, people say representation matters. And you would hear it's kind of cliche, but until I was actually making the jump from Earth to Pluto with this contracting thing, and I didn't have any point of reference, you're in a room where you're supposed to be networking to make these relationships to make more money. But when you walk in the room, everybody's white in a blazer and they're 65 and they looking at you like, and you looking at them like,
Are you in the right room?
yeah. So, that's intimidating. So I had to get over that to make these relationships and just to make my presence felt.
Right. And I feel like as you get more experience, you also get more confident.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so confident now. Like, I'm nice.
There you go.
I'm nice. Like, I'm nice.
And you didn't learn any of this in college. This is all things you learned outside of college.
I got
These
kicked
are
out of
things why I said
college.
the curriculum needs to change in
Yeah.
college. Like, there are people making millions of dollars that are doing things that we don't learn, and that is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. HBCUs, I mean, they have programs too. They got hip. They're expanding and
That's
building.
great.
So now they've gotten their GC license and they're employing, their students. So it's one big transactional economic, I don't know. You just got to get involved.
Do you see things changing?
I do because of what I do. The government, it doesn't matter who's president or who's whatever, they're always going to be building and they're always going to have to come see me because we do the work for them. So I'm not going anywhere.
I got a wild question now. You said earlier that you started off in the studios.
I'm scared.
You were into music. What, you were a rapper. What was your rap name, or what was your singing name?
Casey.
Oh, that was that was your rap name. You were a rapper.
No, I was a singer.
Oh, you was a singer.
You don't know this, but a couple of years ago, I was a BET Music Matters artist. So you tweeted me out. We had a little show at the I can't think of what it was up here, but that was like moons ago.
How'd you do?
I did well.
Oh, Emmy tweeted you. Well,
yeah,
that's nice.
I don't know what his involvement was, but he was
I'm
tweeting.
on the
Okay.
BT.
Yeah, he was just tweeting us out. I was like, oh, Envy, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, you do it all.
Not anymore.
You
So
got that
singing's not your passion anymore? You don't even care about it?
Well, no, because now that I have so much spotlight, it's like people are weird. And, walking
Definitely
around trying to, I'm like in Kinko's trying to make copies and somebody like, hey, ain't you Compass Circle? And I'm like, bro, not today.
But when you got that $50,000-$60,000 watch on, they can.
I didn't have the watch on.
Oh, you didn't have the watch.
And I always say, I'm like, how do they know it's me? I don't know. I mean, it gets weird, but I'm grateful. And more than anything, I just want people to bypass me, like go farther and faster than me, because this was hard. Like I sit here and we talk about it so cavalierly, but this is 16 years in the making.
And are you thinking about how you're going to get to that point where you can be a $100 million company? Because I
No.
know you said you're not ready for that
No.
now.
You like this lane here?
Oh, no, I like this lane. I mean, even now with my growth, I could get there just off the classes because people are so hungry for the knowledge. I mean, everybody wants money. And then, like I said, the little finite nuances in between, even me right now, like I'm still learning as I go. It's just a lot of weight, and I've worked really hard. I'm tired also. I'll be 41 in 2 weeks. I'm tired. Like,
I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm like, I need a break. It never stops. So, I don't need 100 million. Like, I'm cool. I got like 17 income streams. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Well, Casey, we appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you.
Just give them the information again if they want to get in touch with you or attend your class or your workshop and all that other stuff.
Absolutely. So you guys can find me at The Compass Circle on Instagram, The Compass Circle on Facebook, and our website is www.thecompasscircle.com.
All right.
Can you sing that to us?
Cooper.
Girl, no. It's over. It's over.
It's over.
And Casey said if you want to battle her right now, she'll be on the West Side Highway at 3
Come
o'clock.
on.
Come on, bring your
We
truck.
can back it up.
All right. It's Casey Cooper. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.